Yeah. So there's this thing in rap that I always really appreciate. And two of the greats to ever do this particular style of rap that I'm talking about tonight is Jay-Z and Lil Wayne.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dylon.
Not Dylon. I said two, not five.
Yeah. Well, it'd be seven.
It would be seven.
And the thing about Jay-Z and Lil Wayne in particular is that they both have a reputation for being exceptional rappers who do not write their lyrics. They just step in the booth and then they just let it go, and then they're able to make some incredible records just from memory. And they influenced two different generations of other up-and-coming rappers.
Lil Dicky.
Look,
His freestyle was off the chain.
yeah, that was off the chain, yeah. But the thing of it is that I believe it was Jay-Z one day. He was being interviewed by a radio host, and he was asked, so how do you feel about, influencing all these other rappers and with them bragging about also not writing their lyrics down, with them just freestyling? And JC goes, yeah, I can tell they need to start writing. And the reason I bring that up is because as a longtime comic book reader and a longtime viewer of comic book movies, I can tell when a movie is just freestyling some shit. And I'm like, y'all should have really wrote some shit down. I don't bring that up for any particular reason.
No, really?
It goes back to that George R. R. Martin quote that I shared a couple episodes ago. Where we were talking about how it doesn't matter who writes it. There's always some douchebag in Hollywood that thinks I can improve on this.
Oh yeah,
It's
true.
No matter what. So,
Oz, where's your drink at? Oh, okay.
He got. I'm just gonna let y'all know. This man got a coffee monster on the way over here. Mean Bean, I imagine.
No, dog. Like, got that Loca Mocha.
Loca Mocha, okay. He drank that shit from the gas station to here, which folks is not but like a mile tops.
Yeah, I needed that energy.
I went straight to the theater from work. Like,
okay.
straight there.
You timed that shit. I mean, literally, you walked into the theater like right as the actual movie started.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did.
I mean, like it was within like 3 seconds.
And then you quickly realized the movie never really starts.
That's true. I have this thing called homie privilege. I walked in there and I said, you can't start the movie until I sit down, right? And they're like, we got you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who may or may not have read the title before you clicked on it, if I understand if you just want to listen to our stuff and you know that no matter what the content is, that you will both be, absolutely just enamored by it and delighted. I get that.
Yes.
But
some of you guys listen to both Read or Die episodes, and hey, I appreciate that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because there's no way you had any idea what the fuck we were talking about.
Right.
I mean, and neither did Brendan. So, you're probably right there in lockstep with him. But tonight we actually are going to be here. We're going to do a review of the 2024 Crow movie. And just to go ahead and kind of set the expectations for that, all our movie reviews follow a very simple set of rules. The first half of this is going to be spoiler-free. We will have a little part in the middle where we will bullshit a little bit. I mean, we're probably going to bullshit a lot. And give you guys time to tune out if you haven't seen the movie, don't want to get spoiled. And then the second half will be absolutely balls to the wall, spoilers, spoilerific. And also on this very kind of a special occasion, I will note that since this is a remake of the original Crow film from 94, back in 94, literally.
94.
These two have seen and like the 94 movie. I have never seen it. So I'm kind of the control here as far as I'm untainted by any
really not going to get anywhere
additional
with
bias.
So the great thing about this now is that you guys can see Oz seething.
Yeah. Like I've kind of made a career on this show of like having emotions that I don't verbalize, and also ones that I do. But yeah, y'all get to see all of that. So fun.
Yeah, he's visibly uncomfortable for two reasons. Number one, He's in the middle.
Yeah,
he hates that.
That's a ADHD thing. But yeah,
Number 2, he just watched this movie and he also hates that.
Yes.
I guess the proper introductions are in order.
They are.
Before we.
And Caleb, thank you for the wonderful reading of the rules as well. So, proper introductions are, in fact, in order for those of you who may happen to be new here to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Superhero Homie Q, and tonight I'm here with 2 of my closest and bestest friends in the whole wide world. They are such good friends that they were murdered in cold blood, and I knew them for 72 hours, and I was also murdered. I would come back as a vengeful spirit for reasons. And with that being said, I am here with my brother and my homie, the homie Oz. Welcome back.
How's it going, everybody? You finally get to see. Well, this isn't the first time we've done video,
No,
but
And a bunch of my listeners have come over, so
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, but hi, nice to see you guys. What's up?
And of course, as always, I'm here with my illustrious co-host, the homie Caleb.
What up? What up? I am considerably happier to be here than I was the last time I was here.
He has not stopped ranting about this.
However, I'm pretty sure that this episode is going to come out first.
Yeah.
So, from the past, I'm here to inform you that in the future, I will be experiencing something very negative.
Well, there was a DeLorean in this
and
movie.
there was a DeLorean in this movie. So, maybe I used that.
Maybe. It would have been a better plot than what we got.
Shit.
But yeah, I guess right off the bat, and it's probably very evident, I think at this point, to anybody who may be tuning into this, or I think the general feeling on the internet. But what was you guys' kind of just overall basic thoughts on the movie?
I think I'll go first on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. So my initial thoughts on this movie were, I appreciated the effort that they put in to kind of spice things up from the original story. They didn't try to recreate the 94, and to a degree I can appreciate not doing kind of a 1-to-1 remake of what we got before. I appreciate the effort. And they also chose not to try to stick closer to the original comic as well. Instead, this movie kind of went off and did its own thing. If I had to kind of explain how this movie is related to the comic book, it would be like if I pitched you a movie as I was passing you walking down the street. It would be like if you were just walking down the street, right? And then you don't even notice me, but I'm walking past you and I go, "The course of supernatural thriller and it's about a man named Eric Draper and his girlfriend gets killed and so does he and that," and then I'm gone. And you're like, I caught some of that. And I think I can make a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of
what was that last name again? It doesn't matter. He's just going to be called Eric.
But I thought that this movie, it somehow lacked all of the style of the original 94, and the style was damn near half of what carries the original 94 Crow.
Yeah.
And the other half is the direction, the writing, and performance for Brandon Lee. And I gotta say, I also feel like that was missing from here as well. But to interject some quasi-positive, I felt that this movie tried to explore realms of our main characters that maybe weren't so explored in the original 94, or even the comic books to that extent. They tried some things to make you feel more for some of our main characters. They really wanted us to have a connection, and unfortunately, it didn't work. For reasons that we will get into throughout the course of this podcast. But man, ultimately, yeah, I was a little disappointed. I felt like my car had stalled out and it wouldn't get over 20. That's how this movie also failed. But there's a lot to say here, but those are my vague basic thoughts. Oz, what about you?
Oh, to keep this vague. So I kind of explained this to Caleb on the car ride over here, is it kind of felt to me like watching the Seth Rogen Ninja Turtles movie, but watching The Crow, it was like they had a vague idea of what the characters were, the story was, and decided to make a lot of changes that weren't, in my opinion, smart. I'm very not happy with this movie. Like at first, when I was right before I left the theater, I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as I was thinking. But the more I've stewed on it in the past 20 to 30 minutes to get here from the theater, from my seat, I have fully determined that I dislike this movie completely.
I knew that before we left the theater. So,
what's interesting is that I think that probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks or next month or whatever, when we review the original Crow, we'll revisit this movie in spirit and talk more in depth about some things.
Of course, yeah.
And Caleb, I can't wait for you to see the original.
Same,
to kind
same.
of gauge your thoughts on that. And then now I don't want to temper your expectations any kind of way. I don't think that the original is perfect.
No,
by
it's
any
not.
stretch. It's a cult classic for a reason. But man, what it does do well, it does well in spades. And but yeah, man, what were your thoughts on this?
I didn't think it was like an awful movie. Like I said when we came out of the theater, like if it's between this and Umbrella Academy season 4, give me this every day. Twice on Sunday. But obviously, this movie did not do anything fantastic. If anybody, I'd say the best played characters in the movie are probably the main villain and Shelley. And even then, the dialogue is kind of like an 11-year-old wrote it.
Or as I made the comparison of a child who has just hit puberty and who thinks they know what love is.
Yeah. I was not, there's probably one scene in the movie where I thought that there was some really good action. And then there's a couple scenes in the movie where the action is good, and it is very gritty. They definitely aren't doing a bunch of camera cuts to like hide the gore or anything like that. But there's definitely nothing in this movie where it's like something else isn't doing it better. And that's having not seen the original, right? So, yeah, I mean, I never hated it. I think the first act has some incredible pacing problems. And that's even putting it lightly. But no, I mean, didn't hate this, didn't love it, wouldn't be in a hurry to watch it again. If I was bored and it was on, I might watch it, but yeah, that's
You're a better man than I.
That's about my basic thoughts for the movie.
I mean, I can't really be upset with anything Caleb said, because had I not seen the original movie, or if I had not read the comic book, had this been my first exposure to anything Crow related, then I would just walk away saying, yeah, I'll watch some mundane action movie.
Yeah. Some mildly gothic hot topic action movie.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it wouldn't sear my brain, like some other terrible movies I've seen. It would just be forgotten, I just kind of forget about it. But because, I have seen the original 94, and because I have read the comic, there are a lot of things that I cannot just push away. And that's the thing that gets me. You know that you're remaking a cult classic that people love. Like, people really, really, truly love this movie. A lot more than dare I say, even Oz and myself.
Yeah, there are people who love it way more than us.
Yes.
There are people on the internet that are furious that they even attempted to remake this.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, like, I felt the same way. I was like, why are you doing this? There's no reason to.
I will say this for it. It's better than the trailer made it look, because that trailer came out and I was like, I've never seen the original movie. but this looks god awful. It was kind of like the same feelings I get when I watch any of the Venom 3 trailers. So like the movie was actually better than the trailer made it look. Somehow, whoever made that trailer needs to get fired.
that is the case sometimes, right? But I actually was never upset at them wanting to remake this movie.
See, I probably wouldn't have been as upset if it wasn't Eric Draven. Like, if they would have... Because I guess the little bit of... like we can throw this a little bit. Like, the comic book lore is that the Crow is not the same person every time. It's... Once that particular person has finished its business, they move on, and it becomes another person.
Right.
And if they would have done that, I would think I would have respected this movie a lot more. But since they heavily implied it was Eric Draven and Shelley Webster, then I think that was a huge... that's the nostalgia in me being pissed.
Yeah, I guess for me, even them wanting to retell the Eric Draven story, that doesn't fully upset me either. And I get it, right? A lot of people have feelings that like, well, this is Brandon Lee's role and no one else should do it. I'm not in that camp for actors. Sorry. Also, recast T'Challa.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah, I'm never in that camp of just let the road die with the person. Give me another Joker. Like these roles, are kind of immortal, and it's a part of storytelling, and it's a part of the gift that they leave us. But I just assumed that if you're going to try to attempt to tell the story of Eric Draven, that's the Crow, that you would handle this with like the most careful, nuclear reactor resistant gloves that you possibly can, because you know that you're handling something that can make you a lot of money if you handle it correctly, and if you don't, then you're not going to make money. You're going to have a really pissed off fan base.
And I do feel like the super diehards, like, I consider myself a pretty strong fan of The Crow. Like, that movie really did, like, change a lot of who I was when I was younger. And I know there's people who are way more affected by this than me. And just, I cannot imagine what that's going to do.
I almost said this movie, no, okay, I can't say this. This movie definitely inspired the original inspired a legendary wrestler in the name of Sting.
Right?
You know what I mean? And so if anyone watched WCW in the late 90s,
yeah.
Congratulations. You know where his influence is.
There's a reason it's called Crow Sting.
Yeah, exactly. But if I had to look at this movie, aside from the original, and just judging what I have, unfortunately, I still have a big old nothing burger for the most part, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I think for me personally, an apt comparison is like, if I've never seen the original Mortal Kombat movie, then the one we got like 3 years ago, it would be okay. I like the Sub-Zero Scorpion fights. I don't know who this new guy is. What was his name? Cole or whatever? Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the new Mortal Kombat for sure. Other than
I've still not seen it. So
the Sub-Zero Scorpion stuff was like the only highlights, and then everything else was garbage. This movie's kind of the same.
But so what does this movie have that? To me, this movie doesn't have anything that tops the Sub-Zero Scorpion stuff.
I don't think it tops it, but like I could look at this movie and go, the action was pretty good, and that's all it's got. And then at that Mortal Kombat movie, I can go, the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff was pretty good, and that's all I got. So.
and that's what I'm saying, right? But it's like, but also, just to continue that comparison, looking at the original Mortal Kombat movie, it's like, it's not perfect by any means, but you understand why people revere it so much. Mm-hmm. But also, it's like, the one thing that the newer one does better is maybe the action. That's because bigger budget and times have changed. You know, and
choreography's definitely come a long way. Yeah.
But with that being said, we can kind of break some of these things down. I want to start with the pacing. And I think that we all agree. Caleb, you said the pacing for Act 1. I thought the pacing for me, the pacing was so bad, I don't even think there was an Act 2 or 3.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, man. Oh, God, it was...
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
It was just, like, the slow pacing of the introduction of the two main characters was just, okay, when are y'all going to hit the gas somewhere? Somewhere. And it doesn't get hit until, like, if you can call it this, mid-Act 2. Like, it's really not that good.
Yeah.
I thought that, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think the pacing is great at any point during the movie. I mean, honestly, like, it hits the crescendo, like, way before the end. Like, you got a good 15, 20 minutes of movie after this thing peaks. Mm-hmm. You know, like, the roller coaster ride's over and we're just sitting in the seats waiting on them to release the bars.
I mean, that's a good analogy, actually.
And it's like, are you going to let us out of here? Or, you know? And, there's just, I think it crawls, and then, like, once the thing happens that kind of puts us into Act 2, you're like, all right, well, cool, you know, we're gonna go, and then it's like, we're not, all right, okay, we're not, we're gonna go, okay, we're gonna visit another guy, and it's like, you can tell because either because we all watch too many movies or just modern plot beats have become super obvious, and it may be both. But it's like there's points in time where he goes and does a thing that you would do in this type of movie right after a big action piece, where it's like, okay, we've had the gas on, let's hit the brakes, let's give him a little bit to come down before we fire it back up again. But there was no fire up. Like, we just crawled to a stop sign. Like, there was no... you know, and there is a lot of that. I think for me, it's the most severe in Act 1 because it's almost like Act 1 is like its own little short film.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, it is.
And then Act 2 is like, okay, now we pressed play on The Crow. Yeah. And then,
oh, God,
and then it's like, when are we going to get around to that movie? But yeah, I think it's awful in Act 1. Some of the worst pacing I've ever seen in a movie. And then after that, it picks up, but it never, like, as you tend to say, like, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
No, it is not. God damn, it's not. Yeah, the pacing killed me in this because my thoughts were it may not be a good movie. It may not have a strong plot. The characters might even be weak in this movie, but I guarantee you they're going to hit the gas pedal and give us a bunch of nonsensical, cool-ass action. I was probably like a quarter right with everything I just said. They really thought that they had... We can just go into the plot here now, vaguely speaking, but they really thought they had a super genuine, heartfelt plot on their hands. You can tell by the way that they handle it. And it's to the point where, again, no spoilers, but the way that this movie ends is frustrating because it could have been a heart-wrenching moment had they made me give a shit throughout the other parts of the movie.
Yes. Like, I almost started jumping into the spoiler stuff, but like, man, I agree with you. Like, I had a very hard time seeing the connections that they were trying to make with these characters. Any of them, really. Even the villain. Like, don't get me wrong.
I don't know what the fuck the villain is. I guess mild spoiler.
Right?
I would spoil it for you if I knew.
Because it was never explained. Not really. No, but like, yeah, the plot, it just kind of fell right in line. Like, at least they were consistent. Like, their pacing was garbage, and the plot was garbage. So,
but that kind of leads into the other thing, that being the characters aren't great either.
No,
they're not. Caleb, what'd you think about the plot here?
I think that if you showed me an outline of the plot of this movie, I would go, okay, like that's a decent. This is a decent modern blockbuster. I mean, it honestly just if you put it in like an outline format, it's very similar to like a John Wick movie.
It would look like The Crow, which is frustrating.
So some good things happen, and then a bad thing, really really bad thing happens, and then one character is very upset about the bad thing that happens, and then they go out and take care of shit.
And all black.
Yeah, and with a legendary +3 trench coat, and so I'm like, okay, I would watch this, but it's just the execution is not tremendous in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, it's not all bad. There's some highlights in there. Whoever like choreographed the fight scenes, like it was like better than CW, So
imagine the R-rated CW.
It kind of is, right? Everyone is very pretty.
Yeah.
Kind of CW-esque.
Yeah, you don't really get... Even the henchmen in this movie aren't
necessarily... like they're very much Secret Service, like well kept. Yeah, right. No, I get that. Yeah,
there was only the one guy that looked like he worked for the Gotham PD, and pretty much everybody else was like straight off the CW casting call.
Can we also talk about how and I forget the name of the city, but like the city that The Crow typically takes place in is a fictional city, and I think that this one is too, but it is the quietest big city I have ever seen.
So I'll also say this, like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but while we were watching the movie, it was fucking dead quiet in that theater. Like, like it was almost like maybe people were so confused by the pacing that they was like, we have to be quiet, otherwise we'll miss something.
Maybe they were just bored.
Maybe that was it too.
I know that's what I was why I was quiet. I had a burger and some fries that I had got from the bar at the theater. And I sat there and ate my food, and then I set it down, and then I was like, I'd be a lot more entertained if I was playing on my phone right now.
I was like, man, I wonder if Oz sees enough, he might not notice me sneak out and go see Alien Romulus.
Which we all agree that we would rather wouldn't seen that.
Yeah. I knew that when I stepped out of the car. I was like, man, I got a couple hours and a movie ticket. And I'm going to go see fucking The Crow when right down the hall they're playing Alien Romulus.
In the GTX.
Yeah. Oh, God damn.
You just know the sound.
It's going to be so good.
Let's go back right now. Let's just fuck off. Go back.
All right, homies, that's going to be it for this one.
That's it. I'm sorry, guys. We don't even give you the spoilers here. No, we're just going to
go. We do need to talk about the major characters, though. So, obviously, we had Bill Skarsgård here, the worst Skarsgård, and...
I never like when you say that.
I'm not wrong.
Very cynical, though. Like,
I'm not wrong.
Because I think he's great.
Okay. Still?
No one bats, no one bats 1,000.
That's true. Michael Caine is about it. Yeah. You guys tell me a bad Michael Caine role. I'll wait.
I'll wait.
I'll wait.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Master Wayne.
But what'd you guys think of Bill Skarsgård here? Obviously, coming into this, he had enormous shoes to fill. I mean, I got to give him credit for that. I mean, obviously, this was the role where it's like this should never be recast. Is the kind of the sentiment, general sentiment. So, what do you guys think of Bill Skarsgård here?
I will say that I applaud him for not attempting to be Brandon Lee. Like, I never once felt like he was attempting to be him. Like, he took the role the best he could do with it and made it what it was. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was the writing or just his acting ability. I don't know. I don't really have much to work with because I don't know his work very well. But to me, I think he did decently at trying to at least make the role his own.
Yeah. Couple things. One, I wholeheartedly agree. He didn't try to be Brandon Lee, which is most important because you're not just like no other Joker is gonna try to be Heath Ledger because they know they're gonna fall flat on their face. It won't work that way. Two, this version of The Crow, I think, does greatly suffer from very poor writing. And it would be different if there were other characters in this movie that were well written, but there's not. And you look at this version of the character, and it's like it's not the actor's decision, I can tell, in this movie, because these are definitely strong plot beats that they are choosing to do for this character. For example, I cannot tell where Eric ends and the Crow begins. Like the bleed over there, they're just it's the same shit. It's the same guy.
Like it kind of changes towards the end.
At the very end.
Yeah, it kind of changes, but you're right. I agree. Like I was waiting for that defining moment that shit, he is the Crow now.
Right.
And I never really fully felt it. Like I felt like they kind of like gave us a little bit.
A stutter step.
A stutter step.
Yeah.
But they never gave us the full Crow.
No, not even close. And thirdly and lastly, and that is, listen, the writing let him down. I know that he has the acting chops to do way better than ultimately what we got in this movie. But think of it this way. Before they chose Bill Skarsgård, they were going to go with Jason Momoa. Do with that what you will.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's
Very different.
I don't know how I would feel about that.
This was very Anakin Skywalker meets Jared Leto's Joker.
I
mean Attack of the Clones Anakin, not any of the good iterations.
Yeah, no. Like I will say, like Skarsgård. There's a handful of times I was like, is he really attempting to do Hayden Christensen's voice?
Yeah, there were times where he was straight up aping 2002 Hayden Christensen here, like almost like he was watching tapes before it came out. Also, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but every time he talked to a character in the movie that had an accent, he would change a little bit and have a little bit of that accent. You know, like that's a very natural thing that happens.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
But I do it all the time too. But I know you get stuck in accents and shit. But like in a movie,
you kind of
the director should be like, cut, retake that. You're doing this. But this just made it into the film every time. I don't know if you guys picked up on it.
I really didn't. But also, like...
You have to watch it again. And
No, I will not. But I was, like I said, like there was those moments where I was just like... It was hard to listen to some of that dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And for me, like the hardest dialogue to listen to was in the first act.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh.
And we'll definitely break that down later.
I think there's really only the three main characters here. So, I guess the actress is FKA Twigs.
Yeah, so I was so confused when because I was looking at the cast a couple days ago, just trying to see who I was in the movie. And I was like, this person was formerly known as Twigs.
That's what I thought too. I was like, you trying to pull some Prince shit?
And I was like, who the fuck was Twigs for me to know them?
Right.
Yeah. I've never she feels like I've seen her before. But
she does have that.
Like there was yeah.
It's like I know you, but I've never seen you before.
Right, exactly.
I will say this, with all due respect to the actress, she's very lovely. She plays the stoner very well.
Oh yeah,
she does. Yeah,
it was very believable to me. Yeah, 100%. I was like, this bitch does drugs.
Yeah.
Before we ever even found out that she does drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I say, right, and maybe this is, I guess, pseudo mild spoilers for you, Caleb, but.
Oh no!
Like
for a 30-year-old movie.
For a 30-year-old movie, I mean, Shelley doesn't get this in the '94.
No, she doesn't. Like she is only visible in flashbacks.
But somehow, some way, that was more effective than what they do here in this movie.
I know.
It is weird because those flashbacks, they do flashbacks in this one too, but in the '94 movie, the flashbacks really helped you feel Draven's pain, and it kind of helped you resonate with the character.
But like that was the thing. Like whenever he had flashbacks in this movie, it kind of felt like he didn't respond to them. It was just like flash, and then he's still walking. Like
what? Like give me something.
Give me some emotion there.
Yeah,
it was almost like they had no intention of putting the flashback in that spot,
and then they did
it in editing.
Post,
in post. Yeah,
yeah, that is what that felt like. But I mean, in terms of what she did, I mean, it was fine, I guess. You know, like it didn't hinder the movie as much as just the basic plot beats of what she had hurt the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to talk more about her character when we go into the spoiler section, because there's certain things that just don't check, right? But that's more the writing. I thought the actress was fine. I wasn't blown away, but I thought that she delivered. Like, I think that her and Bill Skarsgård both had very crummy dialogue, very, lowest common denominator dialogue. I thought that she delivered hers fine. I was never as bothered by her delivery as I was by his. But, she was just fine. She was nice to look at.
Was the best day of shooting for Bill when he got to just grab a handful of her ass.
Yeah. I mean, there was that point where he basically had his face in it, I was like, you know what, director? I don't think that was a good take. I think we need to do that one again.
Yeah, let's run it back. Let's do a couple more takes and see which one we like best.
Yeah. Play it back. Can we play that in slow mo? Actually,
slow mo. Yeah, 100%.
The last one I want to talk about is Danny Huston, who was the villain here.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah,
Danny Huston's
he always typecast, whatever.
Dude is the villain in everything.
Right.
He's typecast now to the point where they need to put him in something where it turns out he's like a nice guy, and like that's the twist.
I'll be waiting for the double twist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's an after credit scene where he's just like, it was a double cross. This guy is in everything, right? Like he's the middle-aged Stryker.
Yeah.
Because there's like three different actors that have played Stryker. Brian Cox was the older Stryker. I don't know the name of the guy that played him in Days of Future Past. Right. And then this was the one in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. This is the one that sewed Deadpool's mouth shut and started this whole alternate timeline that we're in.
Yeah.
And he's a major villain in Yellowstone. I mean, he's in all sorts of things. He's in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, he's always a fucking he's always a villain.
If you just need somebody to just have this air of douchebaggery, I mean, this is the guy.
It's that smug look. He just has this face that you just want to punch.
Yeah, he has resting smug face.
Yeah, he does.
He definitely strikes me as a guy who owns some big tire corporation. And every quarter or so, he comes down, and
he walks
the shop.
Walks the shop floor. Like, I'm gracing you with my presence. Right. That's right.
Nitpicks some shit.
Yeah. Is this area always this unkept?
Obviously, knowing nothing about what his actual business does. He definitely does give that douchebag boss vibe. Yeah, it does.
He looks like to me that he owns some of those like ice cubes specifically for scotch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would have that if I drank scotch.
That's true. I mean, I do some bougie shit from time to time.
Time to time. 2 Chainz used to have this show. It was the most phenomenal show ever. I think it was called literally was called the most expensivest shit ever. Expensivest. Yeah. And he would just go and experience some of the most bougie, expensivest shit ever. And one of those was like, I think it was $200 ice cubes that were made specifically like for consuming whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, God damn, these cost how much?
$200 for ice cubes?
Yeah.
It's water. Frozen water.
Well, he drank like $500 water. Like, and it's so funny because like they do like this super dramatic editing, like when he's taking the sip or when he's doing anything in the show, and then the camera's like focus on him, then on like the person presenting it, and then on the item, and they're playing like the super intense music, and he go, yeah, man, this shit tastes like water.
It's fucking $500 water. It's kind of like that scene in Pulp Fiction. It's like, I didn't know what a $5 shake tastes like.
Nowadays, a $5 shake is just average.
Average.
Right,
God.
yeah. That's like a McDonald's shake, basically.
Right. Shit.
Sonic shake during happy hour.
Right. Yeah, during happy hour.
During happy hour.
Doing 3 to 5.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, he always looks like he just like left the set of a cigar commercial, you know?
Right.
But I thought that he was, he was good here. Mm-hmm. He once again, the script did him no favors. Mm-mm. He has.
I will say what he did with his little bit though.
Yeah,
was really good.
He was the best character.
Yeah, he was. He was the best character.
Yeah.
It's a low bar, you know.
Because like he could have played this shit like a fucking cartoon character, but
he could have.
He didn't.
He could have.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see a cut.
The crow thinks he can foil me.
Yeah. I want to see. I want to see him like soft parenting the whole way through. Now, you didn't want to come here to fight me, did you? You got your Hot Topic eyeshadow on. Don't you want to be in the club wearing that? Do you really want to waste it on me?
Right. Is that really what you want to do? Think about it. Is that what Shelley would want?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Then he's gonna get fucking murked immediately.
Right.
But yeah, I thought he did a good job. But he also has vague powers, and we hate that shit.
Very much so.
Oh God! Like, don't get me started on those powers, man. It really threw me off.
Everybody kind of has vague powers. That has powers.
Yeah. And there's only. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I'll be honest. Walking into this movie, I thought it was just gonna be one person. And then to my surprise, this another motherfucker with powers.
I almost asked you guys questions. Like, there was about 25 minutes into this shit, while we were still watching The Notebook. I was like, does someone get powers, or no one has powers? Okay. Is something gonna happen? I thought that he had a trench coat. Where's the trench coat?
This isn't really a spoiler, but like the trench coat almost became an interesting character on its own, because there was that point when they first show it, and then they're in that hotel room or whatever, and then he takes it off and puts it on the chair, and then they just super hyper focus shot of the trench coat on the chair.
Then once you know he got it,
I was like, really?
In case you missed it.
That's the Rings of Power shot, where they're like, hey, this thing is going to be important, right? We're going to give you about 90 seconds to... Okay. Here we are.
It was definitely a good 10 to 15 second shot. It was so stupid.
Well, since we're already on you, the next thing we need to talk about here is the soundtrack.
Why did you... yeah, okay. So... I probably could have forgave a lot of stuff in this movie. But the soundtrack is not one of them. I grew up with that soundtrack from the original movie, and it sparked a lot of my music tastes today. And the fact that there was none of the songs in this movie fit the tone, really. It was almost like Abstract Circus meets pop hit a lot of the times. They go to an opera at one point, and that bothered me. That I understood what they were trying to do, but it just didn't work for me.
I'm glad you did, because we're going to have to revisit that in the spoiler section.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Bruce Wayne asked his parents to leave that opera.
You're right.
And that was the worst part of the movie to me, was the music, period. Like there was nothing good that made me like the original Crow. Like we actually ran into our friend Kevin, not the homie Kevin, but a wrestling friend of ours who's very much into it. Just like he was way more into it than us, I think, because he had a wrestling gimmick based off of it. Dyed him.
Yeah. How many of our
a lot?
Okay,
a lot. I even had a phase, bro. Come on. But yeah, like he was just saying it. Like I definitely agree. It was like the original had that soundtrack that like it flowed really well together, and then it made you feel those scenes, and like it would give you goosebumps in moments. But this movie, it just pissed me off the whole fucking time.
You don't like Enya?
It has its places, dog. This is not the movie.
Come on, man. Enya was great in Gladiator.
I've never seen the original movie, but when I look at like stills of it, I get a vibe of like The Matrix meets Batman Forever. This movie was not that.
No, like
A little bit.
That's actually pretty fucking close. But it's more of that like. It kind of reminded me of Rent.
Oh, you mean the new one? Yeah. Okay. You talking about the one we just watched tonight?
Yes. So like the original, like the new one reminded me of Rent, and how like none of the songs really fit the tone of what was happening in the scene. It bothered me so much.
You can pull that off as a stylistic choice if you are good as fuck. They aren't.
No.
Yeah. It was either Oz or Caleb. It was one of you two who made mention of like you wonder where the budget was for this movie.
It was I.
Yeah. And I think because I had the same question, but I think that may play a factor into the music selection. Like a lot of that clearing costs a lot of bread. Especially like if you're Sony, it's one thing, you just pull from Sony's catalog. This ain't the case.
Yeah, so I did see in the end credits, it did say original music by this person, and I'm wondering if that was all him, like, or that I don't even know if it was him. I just saw a name, like I was reeling. So
I understand.
It was a pretty modest budget, $50 million.
By today's standards, for a superhero movie, that is very modest.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you could tell. I mean, there wasn't a lot of it. I mean, but shit, it on its first day at the box office, it didn't even crack a mil, $650K.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that it's probably not going to be Borderlands bad, because I think there's a lot of people that'll go see this just to be curious how awful it is. But that's kind of honestly works against it. Is it's not bad enough for you to sit back and go look how awful. There's a certain level of bad where you, like Captain America 1990, where you can just sit back and be like, oh my God, this is hilariously bad.
I will never sit through that movie again.
But this movie isn't that, I mean, at least with that movie, we could pause it and laugh at the fake ears for 20 minutes.
That's true.
There were no laughable moments in this movie.
No, there really weren't. It was more of just like, really?
Yeah,
like it was more of that. It was
it's not quotable. There's no,
No.
Oh, and the original movie was very quotable. Like matter of fact, Eric Draven quotes Edgar Allan Poe in the fucking movie.
That's just how edgelord he is.
Yes. I will say, and I would give this movie this much credit. I did not have that weird, uncomfortable feeling where I couldn't sit still like I did with every other horrible movie we've watched on this show. So I wasn't uncomfortable watching it. It was just annoying to me. The movie was just annoying.
Another kind of pseudo positive for this, we don't have to deal with the little girl in this movie. That character technically is in this movie, but they repackaged her completely.
Was that who that was supposed to be?
Same name, yeah. What was it Sophie? No,
is it Sophie?
Sophie. The name of because in the comic book and in the '94, that was the little girl. In this movie, spoiler alert, she was friends with another character.
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah.
Is that what they said her name was?
Maybe.
Hold on.
No, wait.
The friend was Sadie.
Yeah. So.
No. So that's the thing. In the comic book, the name is Sadie, and she's a little girl.
Oh, okay.
And the '94, they changed the name to Sarah, and then
Okay.
But
Okay, so it's supposed to be the same kid.
Yeah.
I kind of got that feeling, but then the way things happened,
yeah.
I was like, whatever.
So the director on this is Rupert Sanders.
Okay.
Just sounds like a douchebag, I'll be honest.
Anyone named Rupert?
Yeah. But he
All right,
also...
I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Who do you know named Rupert?
There's a guy who plays Rupert Giles. His name is Rupert in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I love that guy.
Oh, yeah,
Have you met him? He might be a douchebag.
I mean,
true,
he's British, but I don't know if that makes him a douchebag or not. But
there's a baseline of douchebaggery.
that's a fair point, yeah.
British. It's the accent, right? Like the accent, it
upticks it, yeah.
It upticks your like charm, but it adds the inverse of that to your douchebaggery.
It does.
The 2017 Ghost in the Shell, same director. So this guy, I think he might just get his rocks off on remaking beloved things poorly.
Damn.
Oh shit! I mean, at least that had Scarlett Johansson in a bodysuit.
In 2012, he did the Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, so yeah, this is his career.
Yeah, this is
100% his career. Yeah.
They're like, we would really love a very mid remake of something beloved. Get Rupert's ass on the phone.
Honestly, that is it. Like, that is the best descriptor. Is this movie is just very mid. Mm-hmm. Like, there is nothing extraordinary, but there's nothing. Like, yes, most of my disdain for this movie is because of my nostalgia, but objectively, mid.
Mid is my favorite Gen Z slang term because it came from weed.
I think that's more of a millennial slang. That's been around for a while now.
I think it became like prominent. Like the first time I ever heard anybody say it on TV was MJF.
Oh, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but he got that from black culture, and black culture have been using that shit for years.
Yeah, I never heard it referred to anything other than weed until about 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So,
I mean, yeah.
that's definitely where it originated from, though.
Yeah.
It just it has been around longer than I was aware, apparently.
And, I feel like a lot of slang is co-opted by Gen Z. And those motherfuckers are like the new colonizers. They came up with everything.
Oh, yeah. I had a Gen Zer tell me one time, and no offense, I love you guys. I love watching y'all stick it to the old people. Fuck them. But, yeah, and I include when we are the old people, When that happens, fuck us too.
No, I'm fucking you up.
But,
Just hit him in the knee.
I had a Gen Zer tell me one time that Stan was their word. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, this song came out in like 96. Get the fuck out of
He
here.
wasn't even fucking born.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking, what the fuck? I'm like, there's literally a song about this from when I was in middle school, which is where the song comes from, or the term comes from. Get the fuck out of here. I draw the line at that shit. That's ours.
God damn.
Are we about done with the spoiler free here?
I guess we are. Yeah, I don't have anything else spoiler free to say about this one.
We can rate this thing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and rate this and be about our merry way. Who wants to go first?
I haven't seen the original, so I'll go first.
Okay.
This wasn't treading on anything sacred review. If you ask me to tell you something this movie does that is outstanding, I really got nothing for you. If you ask me what it does well, I would say that the action is good and the villain is about as interesting as the most mid Marvel or DC villain for what they're given. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot positive I could say. I was not impressed with Bill Skarsgård here at all. There was no scene where I thought he killed it. There's no scene where I thought the script killed it, though, either. So, yeah, I mean, the action is kind of the highlight here. There's not a whole lot else I really could give it. I'm going to give this movie the ultimate mid score. I'm going to give it a 5.0.
Yeah, I'll go next here. Yeah, this movie is an interesting case because I am trying to, on one hand, score it like Caleb and just rate it based off of its own merits, pretending that there's no other source for Crow. But there is, unfortunately, for this movie. And, I mean, listen, if you're going to do something like this, you got to come correctly. And you have to understand that, like I said earlier, if you can knock it out of the park, it's going to go further because of how beloved this franchise is. However, if you miss the ball completely, the fail is going to look that much more worse because of how beloved this franchise is. The pacing is atrocious. I agree that the music is odd at best. I think that the action is unfiltered, which I love, albeit at times it feels a little uninspired. As an action guy, I can say that like it's fine. You can tell that it's R-rated action, which is, hey, yeah, let's do it. But it's uninspired, and I'm like, man, like if they really wanted to kind of emulate John Wick, be fucking creative, get some creative action going on here. But it's more or less run of the mill, and it's not bad, but it certainly didn't do anything to really tickle your testes. I thought that the characters were, again, at best, one-dimensional. I am a Bill Skarsgård fan, and this was not a good performance from him. But also, he just entirely didn't have anything to work with. I don't really think anyone had anything to work with. I do wish that Bill would have put more of his own flair onto this character, because he's got the charisma to do something at least different with this character. And but unfortunately, he didn't. This movie does it tries a little bit to do a lot of things differently, and I applaud them for the attempt. I applaud them for attempting to expound on the relationship between Eric and Shelley. I applaud them for that. But unfortunately, their attempts all fall flat for me. I give this a 5.3 out of 10.
I don't disagree with anything that you two have said. I know my emotions are a big part of this, so I'm actually going to give 2 scores. One, as unbiased as I can for what it is. Like you said, there's some decent action. The main villain, definitely the best character. Still odd as shit. The pacing was slow. The action is really the only good thing that I kind of liked. My unbiased opinion is a 4.5.
What is your biased opinion?
Opinion? I was
like, let's go. Let's fucking go.
They stomped on my childhood. They changed characters completely while trying to do something original, which I will give them, but it was horrible, in my opinion. So, my biased opinion is a 3.
God damn. I believe that is now Oz's new low score on the podcast. Shit. I just want to take this moment to reflect and say, welcome to my world. Imagine reading so many wonderful comic books and can't wait to see the adaptation, only for them to just piss all over it.
Oh man! So this is
they mollywopped you, man. They mollywopped you.
Oh, he's mollywopping me. So folks, this is the point where we're gonna mosey, right? We're gonna bullshit a little bit. We'll try not to make it too long. We didn't blue balls you guys with the cold open, so here's our chance. But we're going to bullshit a little bit. If you haven't seen the movie, or, you know, if you care about spoilers for the 2024 Crow in any way, now is your chance to turn this off. Go watch the movie. If you still want to see it after hearing those scores. and then come back to us. And we'll be happy to serve you up a nice spoiler-filled slice of pie in a few minutes.
You know, something that's interesting. I also really love The Crow, but I also really expected this. And again, like I said earlier, I've grown to be more immune to having things that I love be stomped on by Hollywood. I'm used to it by now. Apathy has begun to set in. However, every once in a while, there's a movie that's so bad that it still manages to kind of poke and prod at that for me. You haven't seen Madam Web, have you?
No, I have not.
Well, we do have to. Nobody has a Pepsi on them. I mean, this is a Pepsi product.
It is a Pepsi product, yeah.
So we do have to put in our contractual obligatory Madam Web reference. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was thinking about that earlier when you were kind of making that comparison. Like, this is like if you pass me in the street as I was trying to explain the pitch to you. That's kind of like what Madam Web was, although I think it's got to be worse because, you know, I'm not like an avid reader of Madam Web's comics, but just like the brief, like 60-second description that you gave me before, it's like, I don't know how you go from that to Pepsi and vehicular manslaughter.
I will say I retract my initial, like, after I watched the trailer, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was intriguing enough to want to go see.
Did you watch
I
it?
forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Okay.
And y'all are the reason why.
And what's funny is, you're the reason we went to go watch it to begin with.
I know.
Because Kay goes, Oz thinks this is going to be good. And I was like, really?
Well, see, like, y'all remember that Nicolas Cage movie Next? Mm-hmm. That kind of reminded me of that, and I enjoyed that movie. So, I mean, I didn't, like, love it, but, like, I enjoyed it. It was a fun, take on, premonitions.
If they had made Superman Lives, it would still probably be better than Madam Web.
Oh, my God.
No, I still need to see some version of that movie. Like, if I could just hop universes.
Yeah, the closest thing you're going to get is we might get the Schumacher cut.
Yeah, that oddly enough, that is the closest thing.
Yeah. I see your bookmark has moved over there.
Oh, yeah.
I see you're getting pretty close to the end.
Oh, well, I think I only got... Yeah. We were talking about Secret History, by the way.
Yeah, you probably can't see it on the table over there.
I don't know if you got to see it on camera or not. It's a tiny book.
I'm actually going to start Saga tomorrow, so this is going to be an upcoming episode pretty soon.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I'm almost done with this, though, and it is... Things have gotten intense so far in Secret History. This is Mistborn. Is written by a man named...
Oh, I'm aware. I've read the first 3 Mistborn books. Actually, the first...
And this one, too, right?
And yeah, I've even read this.
Yeah, he's actually read the first 7, if you include this one, so...
Well, he also wrote a book called White Sand. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm familiar. I have not read that one.
Fucking noob.
Fucking noob. Okay.
It's right here, actually.
Oh, White Sand. White Sand, guys.
Yeah.
Beautiful deluxe hardcover edition.
We thought for a while this might be the only one.
For a while there seemed to be the only copy in existence. But it is not. It's not.
Not anymore, yeah.
Not anymore.
That was one of those weird pandemic era things where nothing could get made or printed or whatever.
The pandemic era was rough. Not because of COVID or anything like that, but because all the books that I would typically pre-order, I did, but then the world shut down. And so I'm like, oh well, that sucks. And then, I look up one day and my bank account is empty and I got 18 boxes that I have to account for now. Shit ton of comic books flowing in. And I'm like, hey, I got bored during the pandemic.
I mean, shit. I mean, I started up a podcast during it. Rough times.
Yeah. Man, there was something else I wanted to riff on.
Dragon Con?
That is coming up.
That is, next week.
Yeah, we have 5 days.
Yeah, this time next week.
This will be my first. I'm getting my cherry pop for this. Yeah.
Yeah, yo, you are. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're about to
Yes.
pop his cherry.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. Like
We stopped
y'all been
by
hyping it up for over a decade for me. So
We stopped by the liquor store earlier. Went ahead
the amount of alcohol
Nice.
that Caleb purchased was ridiculous.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
It was a mere 31 bottles.
Mere, he says.
just to make sure everyone, he's not an alcoholic. They're tiny ones, so it's not as bad.
30 of the 31 were small.
That's fair.
One of them was not.
No, it's fucking cute.
By the time you guys hear on Umbrella Academy, we'll most likely be lit as fuck at Dragon Con.
Which I need to recover from having to watch that show.
So I did pitch this to Caleb as we were discussing, Dragon Con and prep and stuff like that. I was like, it would be kind of cool to do a live from Dragon Con podcast.
Oh.
And I was telling him that there's actually like a podcast assembled lost episode.
There is.
As a matter of fact, it would be the first assembled if it existed anywhere. So your very first Dragon Con, which was 2018.
Yeah.
The homie Joe and myself and yourself, we actually went down our top 5. This was like off the cuff, right? Like we had no plans to do this. We decided at the con to do it. And we ran down our top 5 MCU characters at the time. And we kind of like went around in a circle, like everybody's number 5, everybody's number 4, so on and so forth. And it was great content, but we did it as a live stream, and something happened to where the recording actually got messed up, and we couldn't save the recording. So the people who tuned in to watch that live stream are the only people who have ever and will ever see that content.
That is awesome.
So,
I think we should at least attempt to reenact that. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, we can definitely do that.
I mean, if we get time, if we got time and a place, then I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
In between panels, raves, and gaming.
Yeah, sure,
And the occasional hour of sleep.
Yeah. I mean, two or three.
Just a few here or there. That's definitely feasible. Shit, I even got like I got a portable mic.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I have a tripod for my phone.
Oh hell yeah.
So
I mean, I think I have a pretty decent travel mic too, right? And the one that
yeah.
So very nice.
Oh yeah, I have one laying around somewhere. I think it's packed up, but we could probably do something.
Yeah, we can make that work. We'll just get riggedy wrecked, and then let's turn on the cameras.
Oh my god.
And just let it flow. Yeah.
I can dig this.
Oh hell yeah. Oz, with this being your first time, what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm really, really trying not to have expectations for this. I did this with MomoCon, and everything was exceeded. So, but the big thing is, I'm just excited to see the difference because I've only ever been to MomoCon. So
a lot of ass and titties too.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Yeah, 100%. So yes.
The thing is, like, it's not that Dragon Con, and before I iterate this, I'm not shitting on MomoCon at all here. I was accused on the forums of doing that earlier this year because I posted a meme, and it was the Wolverine meme where he's got the picture.
Oh yeah.
And he's the picture is the Dragon Con logo, and I put the caption on it for when you walk past your 900th generic anime character at MomoCon. And people were like, I bet you won't post this in the MomoCon group. I was like, folks, I put this in the Dragon Con group. I'm not here to troll weebs. If I had been, I would have put it in the MomoCon group.
He is not afraid to do so.
I'm not afraid to do so. I don't know what they're talking about. I was like, I put it here just to let you guys know I was really missing Dragon Con.
That's it.
It would be unfair to say that this is just a larger MomoCon. It is larger, but it's not really that. It's a very different thing. Mm-hmm. This is more. It's not San Diego Comic-Con per se, although this year it could be. I mean, it's this year is massive as far as like the amount of stuff. Usually, I have like 4 or 5 panels that's on my schedule that I really need to go to. I usually put a bunch of shit on my schedule, but I don't make it to half of it. This year, I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna have to like stuff some food in my back pocket and eat while I walk, because my schedule's very packed, and I intend to make it to almost all of that shit. So.
Like there is a lot of stuff that I'm excited. Like I mean, one of the big things that I am excited about is the Baldur's Gate D&D panel. Like they're playing D&D live, and I'm just excited to go see that.
I'm frustrated they're doing so much of that on Sunday. I'm like, that's supposed to be the come down.
Yeah. Like normally we dip out usually around like 1 or 2 o'clock on Sunday. Yeah. I will not be leaving early on Sunday at all. It's gonna be like late that night when I come home probably because there's just like so much on Sunday that I want to do. We were talking about Secret History. The Cosmere photo shoot is on Sunday this year. So there's a lot. I'm really excited. I'm very excited for that. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing I am excited for, I don't know how many of our homie listeners would remember this show, but there was a show in the early 2000s that I was very obsessed with, that there are going to be at least 3 to 4 of the actors from it, heroes.
Oh, that's right.
Nathan Parkman and Isaac Mendez are all going to be there. HRG was going to be there, but he backed out, which that was the one I was most excited about.
I know.
But yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting like damn near 10 years now for John Bernthal to finally show up like he was supposed to.
Is this like the Chris Jericho
a little bit.
The concert that was supposed to happen after that show? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's very much the same thing. That sent me down a crazy train of thoughts that I just said there, because Kevin and I, we were going to it was Chicago WizardCon. It was basically the year of the Daredevil. Like the whole Daredevil cast and crew were there. A bunch of the Walking Dead people were there. But John Bernthal, he didn't show, but he was supposed to. He had other obligations, and that's whatever. I'm not still thinking about it. Who cares? But what got me thinking though was that recently, in the comic books, Daredevil and Wolverine recently fought. And the internet has had a lot to say about it. Because there's like, I haven't read it yet, so I can't really give my thoughts on it. But there's this one panel that keeps going around, and it's of like Daredevil's inner monologue. Like he's beat to shit, he's cut up, his suit is torn, and he's standing there looking exhausted. And he's like, man, I'm beaten up, I'm exhausted, I'm slowing down, and he's healing. And a lot of people have been talking about it, and I was like, well, first of all, how'd y'all think this fight was gonna go?
Right. I mean, yeah, like Daredevil's badass, but
yeah. And see, and that part right there, I wholeheartedly agree with. And then like, I almost got offended, but I couldn't do anything about it, because then the narrative started. Yeah, Daredevil's really cool. Is there any superhero he can beat? And I was like, yeah, sure there is. It's hard to think of some.
Oh.
Yeah, I found that to be offensive, though, because he's one of the most popular superheroes. But,
yeah.
Because I was like, Mr. Fantastic? No, actually, no, I don't think he can. You know?
That's interesting. I think he could beat Damien.
You always pick on the 13-year-old little boy.
I think he could beat Jason also, if that makes you feel better.
What about Dick Grayson?
Nope.
That's always the fight. Okay.
Yeah, like come on, like nope. You know he will always side Dick Grayson. You know that.
I don't think he could be. I think he could beat any of the other Robins.
He might be able. Yeah. He might be able to.
I think he could fight Batman until Batman figured out the deal, and then he'd probably be fucked.
Batman has like a little woo, woo, woo on his utility belt.
Yeah, the little sonic gun. He's gonna be like, This motherfucker.
He's blind.
Oh yeah.
I got you, son.
And then he's gonna walk over. Do I need to call you an ambulance?
And Matt's gonna be like, just call my lawyer. All right, I think we've bullshitted enough.
Yeah.
Dang man, that is fucked though.
Yeah, it is, right? It's incredibly fucked.
He could probably be Captain Cold. He could probably be Citizen Cold.
That cold gun is a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's true. You can't get shot by the cold gun.
Right. All right. Well, we are here now for the spoiler-filled section. Believe it or not, we're talking about The Crow, in case you guys forgot.
I think Daredevil could beat this version of The Crow.
Oh, 100%.
I'll be honest with you. When he gets into the very first fight, we're going into the spoilers now, by the way. You've had time. When he gets in the very first fight in this movie, I was like, does Bill Skarsgård know how to fight? Is this like a Finn Jones scenario?
I definitely feel that too, because like, oh my god, like, so, and this, I'm not going to give it too much away because we are going to review the original Crow, but like, Brandon Lee's Crow at least had a semblance of knowing how to fight before he became the Crow. It almost kind of made it seem like being attached to the Crow taught him how to.
Yeah.
And like, this version, when he comes back,
He's still Eric Draven.
Eric Draven. Like, well, no. Hold up.
Eric.
Yeah. Draven was never once fucking said.
But this version of Eric is also just he's just very different than what we're used to. First of all, like, we can probably assume, but we don't know for a fact that Eric and Shelley were druggies. I mean,
other than the fact that they were at rehab.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about in the original.
Okay. I was like,
no. Like, honestly, I never once got that from the original.
As a matter of fact, there's the one scene where you think he's gonna kill this one woman who's, I think, with the Fun Boy. But
Fun Boy. Yeah.
But instead, he doesn't kill her, but he says
pulls it out of her.
He pulls the heroin out of her veins and goes, "You have a kid to take care of."
Oh God, what was it?
That probably hurts.
Yeah, it probably did.
God is the.
You fucking nerd.
God is the. I believe it's the way his word is. God is the name on the lips of children.
That's what it was. No. God is the name that children call mother.
Yeah, something along those lines. As he's literally pulling the heroin out of her veins.
Yeah. That shit was gnarly because she thought she was about to fucking get wrecked.
Oh yeah, because what he did to Fun Boy, shit. Anyway, we're not reviewing the old Crow.
That's gotta hurt like a motherfucker, right? Because not only does it hurt, but it's also pulling the heroin out of you.
Yeah.
So you probably like get sober like instantly.
Oh yeah, she was. Oh, she was. But like, and see, that's another contradiction that really upset me. Like, that's the instance where it kind of stepped on my childhood. Was that. It was very clear that Eric Draven in the OG was against that. Yeah. And this version of Eric is doing it.
But you know what? And not really in the movie's defense, but in the original, did Eric do that because he was against drug use, or did he do that because he was friends with that woman's daughter?
So, in my personal opinion, I never once got the feeling from Eric and Shelley from the original that they were ever like that. They were just people who were down on their luck living in a crappy neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I always felt like, even though he's a rock star, I never felt like he was like a druggie.
Yeah. Well, in both movies' defense, I gotta say, in 1994, the straight edge kids look like this. And in 2024, the druggies look like this.
Oh my God.
Would you guys have scored this movie any differently if, like, at the end of it, you just come to find out he's died of, like, a heroin overdose?
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing?
No, I would hate it more, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would really hate
any
that.
show, the CW is very popular about doing this, that makes you think that this is, like, all of the stuff that happened, what didn't really happen, bothers the piss out of me. Like, they wake up in a mental hospital and they show all the, the comparisons to their life and the made-up world that they made. No. Fuck that. That is a cop-out, and I hate it.
That trope. Oh, I hate it. I actually... So, there is a Gen V episode where they do that, and it was so well done that I did not hate it. Which is saying something because I fucking hated it in Moon Knight. And like Moon Knight is a show where that trope should happen.
Right? That's actually the one like I didn't hate was because it made sense for it to be there.
The only one that I loved was in Batman the Animated Series. And it's when he's living his life as Bruce Wayne, then he sees Batman come in and say, he's like, what the fuck? And then he tries to get into the Batcave. There is no Batcave. And his parents are alive, and he's got like a girlfriend or whatever, and he's, life is good, but he's like, this shit ain't right. And then come to find out, he eventually snaps out of it. It was the Mad Hatter trying to keep him sedated while he does Mad Hatter shit. and Mad Hatter's like, how the fuck did you know that wasn't real? He goes, because when I'm by myself, I'm not Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. And he was like, oh fuck.
Like, well, shit.
But that just fits so perfectly, so that always.
Like, I'm not saying I love it in Moon Knight. I'm just saying, like, to me,
does make sense.
That's the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah, like I knew going into that, I'm like, they're gonna do this thing, and they probably should, and it's just a personal bias as to why I hate it. But I blame CW.
CW does, yes, like
running this trope into the ground.
Oh god, it's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about Eric and Shelley and their relationship. Caleb, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, this shit, don't expect to see this in the 94.
No.
I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I've heard a wide gamut of takes on the original. Like, some people are obsessed with it. Like, it's like, if you ever met anybody where, like, Rocky Horror Picture Show is their favorite movie of all time, I know people that feel that exact same way about this movie.
Yeah, same.
And I'm like, okay. And, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where it's like, if Brandon Lee hadn't died, then nobody would care about this movie. Haven't seen the original. I don't have an opinion. I know, that's probably, you're probably shocked. I will develop one shortly. Trust me. However, this whole section, I was like, is this how it goes? And then, old dude's got a deal with the devil and shit. We'll get into that, but the thing I said I want to talk about Shelley's character in this is like, it's just very weird, right? That she goes from this situation where she's clearly running for her life. We don't understand why. We kind of see the horrific nature of the villain kind of reflected in the way they react, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I didn't think was a bad choice.
No, it's not a bad choice. Like, they're terrified of him, and then when you finally meet him, I mean, obviously, because of the dude that's playing him, you're like, this guy's the asshole. But you're like, he seems kind of like the sophisticated kind of villain or whatever. And then you're like, oh no, this motherfucker like made a deal with the devil. Okay. All right, we're going there. But, and that was kind of an interesting twist for someone, like I said, never seen the original.
It was an interesting take for us, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were like, what?
Yeah, the fuck?
Like, I was kind of hoping, because I still haven't finished the Crow graphic novel, but I was hoping, like, maybe you could give me some insight on that. But then when you came out and said, I don't know where the fuck that came from, I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck?
And granted, like, it's been like a year since I read that book, but I don't remember any of that.
Like, I feel like that'd be something that stands out.
Yeah.
We don't get, a specific, like, time frame here, but the way the pacing in the movie makes it seem like...
It's like 72 hours.
Yeah, it's just like, at 1 minute, this chick is, like, running for her fucking life, gets arrested, has time to, like, go to court and get sent to rehab, because if they catch you with a bunch of fucking drugs, they don't just put you right into rehab. You're going to go to jail and get bonded out and have a court date and all of that shit. It was just like, they was just like, rehab.
Also, did anybody else feel it that rehab center was way too nice?
Yeah, and it was weird, right? Like, it was just... at first, I thought it was a prison, and I was like, ain't no fucking prison.
No,
like
you know what
this.
it reminded me of?
Yeah.
Like the like the kind of community where they put the clones for the island.
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of that shit.
I don't want to go to the island.
It was a super bizarre kind of facility, right? I didn't really know what to make of it.
Yeah,
and I mean, it couldn't have been too long because when they escaped, she still had her eyeshadow on. I noticed this. This is a thing that poked out at me. I was like, how did bitch get the eyeshadow in the prison here? But yeah, so it's like she goes from being terrified running for her life, going to rehab, and then just magically fucking falls in love with this dude.
Who's getting picked on, not only by the inmates, but also the guards.
Very quickly, they effortlessly escape. Like,
oh my God.
He was just deciding to be here.
Yeah.
I think the implication, though, was like he was already planning on leaving because he had the shiv in his hand, or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
like stab a motherfucker.
That's like originally that's what I thought, and then there's like, oh, maybe that's what it was for, to cut the ankle monitor or whatever. But also, high tech facility with ankle monitors, probably make it out of material like is cut resistant.
At least for like that because that came from a razor blade.
Yeah, it was a razor blade.
Yeah, and so I'm like, that was extremely easy.
Yeah, he cut both of them things off just like that, and he's like, yeah, those windows up there will take you out to the yard. Okay, and there's like nobody out there patrolling. Nope, they got razor wire though, but like, nobody's after them. Like, they're already looking for you. Right. You know what I mean? It isn't like they slipped out and then people were like, hey, have you seen these two people? No, they were actively looking for you before you even escaped.
And then it's just a matter of so many conveniences. Like,
oh yeah, it was definitely
MacGuffin. Like, they hitchhike not even a mile away from the rehab facility in the rehab garb, and people like, hop in the back.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
I was like, first off, how do you know that's not the motherfuckers chasing you?
Right, yeah. That part too.
All they saw was headlights, and they were like, hey, stop.
And they did.
And they did. And hopped in they just let them jump in the back of the truck.
And then they go back to not New York. And
they just happened to be going exactly to place where the characters live.
Right. And then they were to go up to like the top floor of this like fucking penthouse. And she goes, a friend of mine, lives here, but he's out of the country right now, whatever. I'm like, but did you have a key? Like, how the fuck did you get in here?
Yeah, like the door people didn't stop you?
Right, and also you guys are walking in this busy city wearing jumpsuits, basically.
Yeah.
Well, rehab jumpsuits. I think Draven had, he's not Draven, it's Eric. Yep. Had a t-shirt and the sweatpants on. Yeah. It was ridiculous. Also, they looked rough when they walked into that place. That is a very fancy hotel they walked into. They would have definitely fucking stopped them.
They would have profiled the fuck out of them.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
These are like a couple druggies.
Yeah.
100%, yes!
Not to mention, I mean, he walked in there looking like Machine Gun Kelly and shit.
Oh, my God, he did. Did it also bother anybody else that they took every opportunity to show Skarsgård without his shirt?
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of ridiculous.
It was gratuitous.
Other than with Stellan, they pretty much do that with all of them, though.
Yeah, that is true. But, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, and you hit the nail on the head earlier when you described him as Jared Leto's Joker meets...
Attack of the Clones Anakin.
Attack of the Clones Anakin. Like, yeah, they definitely took that model from Joker.
Why?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Because it's not like it worked.
The strange mullet thing that he had bothered the piss out of me. I would have been more accepting if he had no hair.
There are scenes in this movie, right, where it kind of looks like Hayden Christensen died and they like CG'd his likeness onto this movie.
Right? Oh my God. And like they gave him Post Malone's tattoos and shit.
Right, yeah.
Did an AI write this movie?
Yes.
Wow. And also, like,
strange design choices.
What the fuck was up with the horse in the beginning?
I don't know why that was there. Like they acted like they were gonna make a big deal about the hand scars, like from the barbed wire, which that also didn't make any sense because like the horse was wrapped up in it, right? Mm-hmm. And so the tension was pulling it into the horse. He pulls it back like this, and then you hear a snap, and then he has the scars across his hands. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work. Yeah, like, the only way that anything could happen is if he had pulled it back and it had maybe broke, which that shit is tough. it's very hard for
And for
to
like
snap
a
barbed wire.
what a 7, 8-year-old
Yeah.
could not have done that.
But that wouldn't happen if he had a scars guard.
No. The fuck out.
I'm quoting Kevin here. Go to bed.
Oh, fuck y'all. That was funny.
No.
We'll let the people decide. Write us or comment on social media and let us know if you thought that shit was funny.
That was hilarious. Because you get scars.
No, we
like
get it. We get it.
His name.
I understand.
Okay, and then he had scars on his hand. And if he had a
yeah,
guard,
you can stop.
And you know what's really crazy about that too is like they made such a big deal out of that whole scene, which didn't make any sense from a physics perspective. But every time they showed his hands, he never had the scars on him.
I seen him at the once, like after that.
Because I kept looking for the shit.
Yeah.
But also, like, it really didn't truly explain, like,
They
why.
tried to make it tie into the villain, but it still didn't add up.
Did it really?
Because he
Like,
cuts
I
his
was
hand
just
in the
confused,
beginning,
yeah.
and he's bleeding, and he puts his hand over the horse, like one of his bleeding orifices. The same way that like the villain kept cutting. His own hand.
But like, that was such a stretch.
I don't
even catch that. Like, it was just there was none
Of it made any sense. No. Like,
also, how did he end up in the rehab center? Did they actually say?
We get nothing from his backstory at all.
No,
other than a horse.
Yeah, and then like there's a flashback where we see his childhood house on fire for like a split second.
Did he do it?
We don't know. We know nothing. Jon Snow. Jon Snow. I just got done watching that season.
Oh my god. Jon Snow.
God, do you know my name is Snow?
Snow.
Anywho, that none of that shit really made sense.
Yeah, like this whole opening.
It got to the point where this movie has, and this is coming from me of all people, this movie has no idea how to do romance. No.
I agree, yeah.
Well, I definitely agree as well. That's very insightful of you. Yeah, that usually goes over your head a little bit.
We were just talking about Crazy Rich Asians on here the other day, randomly.
Say what?
Crazy Rich Asians. It's my favorite rom-com. It's like the only rom-com I like.
You thought it was being racist?
No, I did that on here the other day too, inadvertently, twice.
Also about Asians, for one of them.
Yeah, for one of them.
Yeah.
It was bad. I confused 2 Asian people and also 2 African American people in the same episode.
Yeah, he did.
And you didn't punch him one good time, just...
I mean, Kevin also confused Zazie Beetz and Zendaya, and I'll never let him live that down.
And both of those were like way worse than the ones I messed up. Because these were at least close. I could pick those 2 out at like 2,000 yards. Like...
But I'll agree with you. Like this movie has no idea what they were doing with the romance. Like we said earlier, it's like a 12-year-old who just hit puberty wrote a love story.
And because the pacing was so bad, how long were they a couple?
We don't know.
72 hours.
It could have been 72 hours. It could have been 6 months. We don't know.
We don't know. Oh,
Is it long enough? Okay. Have you ever had pussy good enough so that you're like, man, I'd die for this shit? And then you do. And then you're like, man, I'll come back to life for that shit. And then you do. And then you're like, man, I'll make a deal with the devil for that shit. All over the course of like a week.
I ain't never had none that good.
Also, and this may be just me, but like I really didn't feel a connection between the 2 characters.
I know.
Like it just felt very flat. Like maybe it's just the dialogue, maybe it was their acting. I don't know. It's just
they never had any natural moments together. Instead, they kept trying to. Well, let's have them physical contact. All the time.
Oh yeah, just because they fucking or touching each other, that means they're together and they're happy and love each other.
Yeah.
I will say I think the only chemistry I ever felt in the entire movie was probably between, was it Sadie, the chick he kills, her friend? Is that Sadie?
Yeah.
Sadie and the villain.
Yeah, that is the closest thing to like any kind of intimacy. Like
their scene together was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where it enters the strange devil power.
Yeah, so imagine our surprise.
Yeah, like, I know, like, this is a supernatural style story, which a dude coming back from the dead, basically an undead zombie who's got a crow that keeps him alive. kills the people who killed him and raped and murdered his girlfriend.
When you talk about that, there is no rape, and it's like I know on the face of it that sounds awful that I'm upset that there's no rape, but hear me out.
Yeah, less rape usually tends to be the ideal situation.
Yeah. Typically, right? But the death of Eric and fucking I forgot
Shelly,
was so bland in this.
I felt the fucking same. Like, yes, it was it could be traumatic, but I guess maybe we're a little tainted because of the original was like fucking.
And to put it, I mean, there's no other way to put it, but like the 94 was way more visceral, and that was calm compared to the comic book.
Yeah, like
not being familiar with the original movie or the comics, I thought that it was pretty nuts. Like, I mean, it was obviously pretty awful, right? Like, he had to watch her suffocate while he was suffocating, blah blah.
I mean,
it's a bad way to go. But once again, I have no point of reference for any of the
so, and again, this is, I mean, it may just be, you know, the nostalgia talking or whatever, but like, and no, I obviously do not condone, you know, that being on screen, but the whole purpose of a person coming back as the Crow is to experience something so horrific that they can't let go. I kind of felt like this death scene for them wasn't that horrific. It was just, yes, it was murder, and yes, they did suffocate.
Bro, this is how like common that situation could have been. After they suffocated those two, they just could have put heroin tracks in each of their arms and just left it at that. No one would have questioned anything.
No one would question that shit.
Which it kind of seemed like the cops were under their thumb anyway.
That was also weird because like Ernie Hudson plays the cop in 94.
Oh yeah,
and he's one of the main characters.
He is
as a good guy.
Good guy.
But this guy, he's just like a weird kind of lackey.
He's the first kill.
Yeah,
well, but after the
awkward kill.
Yeah, I mean, this was that was the fight where I was like, does Skarsgård know how to fight? Like, not the character. But, like, does Skarsgård know how to fight? But, no, the character definitely, like, you get the idea. This motherfucker never been in a fight before. Mm-hmm. Because he's armed. Like, so, like, the cop shoots him, and then he knocks the gun out of his hand. And then at this point, he's armed with the knife and is a healing zombie. And he's still losing this fight for several minutes after that.
Oh, God. I pieced some stuff together that I don't think I like. The first scene you see Eric in, he's in the institute or wherever the rehab center, and he's being picked on by a lot of the inmates.
Right.
And he is literally cowering up against a wall, not responding. And I think that's what they were trying to slow build for him to help
him a bitch.
They made him a bitch so he could have overcome that bitchness when he becomes the Crow. But see, that's the problem with that, is that's not the point of this movie.
To give this movie a small pro, that shit was wicked as hell when you see him push the guts back in his body.
Oh, yeah.
That was some definite, like, you know, Claire putting her fucking ribs back in. Yeah, like that. When he popped his knee.
Oh, yeah.
Like, God. Oh. They did get that visual going. The visual effects of him healing that is a pro for me. Like, they did a good job with that.
Yeah, because when you first see him healing, like, you know, and this is one of those things where, you know, we've seen a 1,000 like Wolverine heal scenes in the movies at this point. It's completely lost at this point that like that shit all hurts him or that the claws hurt him every time they come out or any of that shit because. By now, you know, we're in the 37th Hugh Jackman movie, and they got to get the slow close up on the claws coming out all nice and slow. Gets their dicks hard, like you know,
soaking wet right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you know, that was one thing I did appreciate is like the healing factor that he has. That shit is not fun.
Oh no, it is definitely like that. It's just very gritty. Like, he feels like you actually even see he feels every bit of it. Even in the end, like you can see him still reacting to it.
See, that's the thing though, is like by the end of the movie, I thought they basically dropped it. Because at the end of the opera scene, he's just kind of walking up the steps while they casually shoot him.
To give the movie some kind of bell, as flimsy as it is, I think the idea there was that he was so focused now on his mission that he didn't give a shit.
That's fair.
And also, and maybe they did this intentionally or not, but it was also a kind of a nod to the OG movie because he does that at one point.
Yeah, it's when he breaks in the tables, big table.
Which matter of incidentally enough, that is where Brandon Lee died.
I thought that was the scene. I couldn't tell for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Damn.
Sorry, downer.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I'm not like 100% clear on that. Was that a scene where like the prop gun went off? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Because I know it came up a lot when the Alec Baldwin thing happened.
Right. Yeah. The prop gun, it worked properly, and back then they used blanks.
Right.
And even then, that's still super fucking dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
But the blank hit him screw on, and that was it.
Killed him.
Yeah. I mean, there's no excuse for them to use live weapons on set in this day and age. Mm-hmm. Like, put all that shit in post, you know?
Yeah.
Give them water guns.
Yeah, there's so many convincing plastic guns that they have no practicality whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Like,
it's hell. You know, we're talking about John Wick. Like, those movies don't use, like all the fucking muzzle flashes you see, that's all done in post. Like, there's nothing going on with those.
Right.
And so it's just weird that shit still happened today with the Alec Baldwin shit. Yeah,
I mean, it's really no fault of his whatsoever, but, like, the production people in that movie, like, obviously.
It was sloppy.
Yeah, I mean, especially when like all the facts started coming out and everything, and like, they were like, the guns were supposed to be checked every scene, basically.
Yeah. There was just ammo, live and blanks, just laying around.
Yeah, like why would there be any live ammo on the set at all for any reason?
Like at most a replica live ammo. Like, make it look real if you needed to set for a shot or something. But don't actually put live ammo anywhere near it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that the Brandon Lee thing happened in 94.
Yeah.
And in that was 2022 when that shit happened?
22 or 23, yeah.
Yeah, like very recently, like we're still taking stupid chances with things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Nolan set off a motherfucking bomb, and he wouldn't do some shit like that. He set off a bomb, flipped an 18-wheeler, and crashed a plane, and still would not use live guns on his set.
I mean, fucking Michael Bay, he had 2 Transformers fighting each other, and there were no actual casualties in reality.
I'm pretty sure all that is.
What?
I think it's all done.
I mean, because like that shit just blows my mind. Because I'm like,
is that right?
Yeah, I mean, there goes fucking Optimus Prime right there, and that's fucking Megatron. And I guess the money was good.
I mean, that's fair.
And yeah.
Nobody's ever died on that ride at Universal.
That's true. And I've been on that
shit. And they was like tossing me around during the fight.
Me too. I was like, yo.
So we're talking about the Crow.
And Optimus was like, we've never faced a thing like this before.
He said that to you too?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That is wild. God damn.
How is the guest trying to wrangle this back into? Come on now, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get off on a tangent.
Yeah. What were we talking about? The Crow.
The Crow.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna be in the same building as Peter Cullen tomorrow.
Oh,
random fact. Yeah.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at Soda City Comic Con. He's gonna be there.
You should take Brendan with you.
He's actually already gonna be there. He's not riding with me because
because phones.
Because phones.
Okay. Yeah, the fucking pacing, I still can't get over how atrocious that was.
It really was like
it was a combination of bad, right? Because the pacing was so bad that when he actually, I want to pivot real quick. We'll come back to this. What was up with the pseudo spiritual guide guy?
Well, yeah, like that. Where did that limbo area first off come from? Because that. All right, so in the comic and in the movie, the original movie, he gets tossed out a fucking window, then wakes up a year later. Is it a year or 2 years?
It's a year.
Yeah, a year later, crawling out of his grave. This bullshit where he's like put into like this strange limbo-esque crossroads thing where the crows are, and this random, motherfucker who's like, hey, spirit guide here, you should go kill people.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, who are you?
Right?
And it's like, I kind of understand, I think what they were trying to do, because in the comic books, only Eric Draven can see that crow. Well, only the crow can see the actual crow. So it's not like a real physical crow there. It's something that he sees in his mind's eye. And the crow acts the same way that, like, the clown does for Spawn.
Gotcha,
where it's like, he's leading you, but sometimes he's kind of being an asshole to you as well. He's trying to also guide you.
Because the whole concept of this is, it's a very neutral entity.
Yeah.
Like, the crow is not here about what's good and what's evil. It's giving you the opportunity to take revenge on the people who hurt you.
Right.
I thought that they should have got Morgan Freeman or Vincent D'Onofrio, depending on like which end of the spectrum you want to take.
If they want to go magical, mystical Negro route,
right? Or if they want to go like, this is definitely a motherfucker you probably should not trust. You
can't put Vincent D'Onofrio and Danny Huston in the same movie.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Also, when they had the scene where like all the crows like started surrounding them, you know exactly what I was like, if this motherfucker hits a Kamehameha,
oh my god,
I'm going to leave this theater.
10 out of 10.
Oh god,
that's all they had to do.
Yeah, oh god,
they saw Morbius and they were like, we were gonna do that.
Don't. Yeah, it's bad. But yeah, like the way they did the crow's powers really was weird. Like,
you don't see anything except for the healing factor.
The healing factor.
That's all you see.
Right. Like, it was just like, so I guess it was more of like, it almost like he had to earn the healing a little bit at first.
Okay, that's the other weird thing about it, right? He goes to this weird caretaker guy and he's like, you've been blessed with, blah, blah, blah powers. But then he gets sent back again, and then it's like, all right, for real this time.
And what was with the Rukia from fucking Bleach punching him into another dimension thing? It happened 3 times.
The second time it happened, I was like, dog, there has to be an easy way for you to send me back. If you don't quit knocking me off these platforms and shit.
See, it could have been a funny gag if, like, every time he gets hit with something that should kill him, he just keeps going back.
That'd be but I would really hate that even more. But but at least then I would probably got a chuckle out of it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I would have chuckled at that. And then we just get a montage of like him trying to keep killing the main villain, but he keeps getting fucked up.
It's like, we were gonna let you go back and get revenge, and then like y'all both could come back to life, but your love had to remain pure. AKA, this bitch can just hide anything she's done from you, and that's pure.
Right.
And then as soon as you find out, and you're like, I wonder why she murdered this person. Then all of a sudden it's like, well, now you got to trade, cause and also since he sent the villain to hell, shouldn't that count as like a soul for a soul? Because that's kind of thought they were gonna do it, but then he's kind of stuck in purgatory. Which purgatory being a grungy train station, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, is that purgatory or would it be birdatory?
God damn.
Because they're all the crows.
Oh, you know what? I just put it together. This
no.
Bear with me here.
Bear with me here.
No! I haven't done that in a while. All right, so listen. I know you guys haven't watched Yellowstone, right?
No.
So Danny, you have. Oh, so Danny Huston is in the show, right? And in Yellowstone, take them to the train station is a euphemism for murdering them. So that's what they're talking about here is it's a crossover. See, when they say take them to the train station, they're talking about this grungy train station because they're going to kill them.
Because they're going to kill them.
And Danny Huss's character must have made a deal with the devil to not die, and then he's this dude. So
it's the same universe.
It's the same universe. Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Yellow Crow.
Yellow Crow.
As Bear With Me Here's go, that was pretty tame.
It was.
There was only one jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't... the whole purgatory thing. Also, we didn't really... We've kind of talked around it a little bit, but we've never really dove into the fucker's power. Like, the main villain's ability. First off, and again... No major spoiler. Like, if you haven't seen it in the last 30 years, this is on you. There is no villain that has superpowers that fights the Crow.
No.
Like, this is legitimately a revenge story.
I mean, there might be in like books 2 or 3, but man, I know for a fact in book 1 with Eric Draven, there's no.
Yeah, like like this whole ability that he has is that he can like whisper in their ear some strange infernal language.
He has Alison Hargreaves' power.
Yeah,
Sort of.
He has to say it in Infernal.
Yeah, 100%. and yeah, like and again, I will give the actor playing it, like he did that whole weird head thing when he did it. It was pretty cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate the ability. I just thought it was very poorly executed.
And it's like he has to send a certain number of souls to hell that weren't going to go there before as part of his way to stay alive.
And Caleb and I were talking about this on the way up here. It was like, I feel that, demons and devils typically are from the Christian mythology. And,
Mosaic mythology.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's more of like that whole, I don't think that's how, souls work. Like, you can't just give an innocent soul to the devil, can you?
Well, I mean, I think in this instance, yeah, because, it seems like most of the time he makes them kill themselves, and there are certain aspects of the Christian religion that think that that's an unforgivable sin. So
that's
I could
true,
see,
and maybe we just didn't get enough context of him just being that manipulator
like
to
everything
corrupt
else.
their souls. Maybe that's what it is.
Like everything else in the movie, they just like, hey, this dude has this power, bye bye, and then
it was like they tried to create a movie that has smart fans, except for they confused the fans.
Yeah, don't think about it, Morty.
Yeah, and like it's so much less effective in this movie, where it could have been something cool to have like the Crow face this guy who also has weird ambiguous powers, but it doesn't amount to anything here.
It doesn't.
Whereas you look at the original and it's like, he thinks his job is done, and so because of that, no more Crow powers, and he learns that shit the hard way, and then he goes to the final fight, and then like now there's stakes because it's just dude versus kind of zombie dude.
Kind of zombie dude, yeah, not even full zombie dude at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, at this point, like once we kick the final act into motion, right, where he makes this deal of like he'll go to hell or whatever if she gets to come back. We know he's immortal basically at this point. There's really no stakes. It plays out exactly like that. There's no twist, no anything, and you could tell that all of the big plot beats where they just like expected you to feel this big emotion, they all feel flat. Like when, he has that amazing scene we were talking about at the Opera House where he's fighting through while the opera's going on. This was very well shot, I thought, well choreographed. It's not the best I've ever seen, but I mean, it's far from the worst. I mean, it's above average.
The opera music fucked that whole scene up for me.
I mean, they were at an opera.
I understand that, but it just didn't fit right, and it bothered me.
See, I didn't mind it, but but the thing is, when he gets to the top and kills the lady's husband, which is the one that actually murdered the girl, this is pretty anticlimactic. And then when he actually gets to her, you're kind of expecting him to have this. They acted like they kind of wanted them to have that kind of V for Vendetta kind of moment. There's one of the kills in V for Vendetta where he gets there and the person's actually kind of remorseful, but he kills him anyway. It's like they were going for that, but it just falls flat as shit. And then the movie never picks up again after that. I mean, when he gets to the final fight, when he walks in there, it's just like is this dude going to whip out some crazy demonic shit and they're going to have this crazy fight? No, they don't. They leave this very open interpretation. It's almost like the villain steals his purgatory power, and so that's where they end up. And then it's almost like a Doctor Strange mirror dimension type thing where he's like, this is the crow dimension and I can beat you here. And then they have a fight in a mud puddle.
Yep.
Fight in a mud puddle.
Which, I mean,
That had some creepy little lizard things in there, too.
if you're fighting Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable, it makes sense.
Yeah.
This is like the one place you could beat him.
Yep.
But, and then, like, he just pushes them, and, like, the demons, I guess, take them. Like, none of this final fight did anything for me.
And where was the guardian of that place?
Yeah, like
during that.
He was working as an EMT. He had a 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah, of course, he has a fucking 9 to 5.
Point.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta maintain the weird, bizarre purgatory train station somehow.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder, because I'm just trying to draw a connection where there probably is none, but there should be. All I'm saying is that he's an EMT, and so is Madam Web. Like, there's some kind of...
I never saw this guy hit anybody with a car.
That's true.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Unless he was driving that semi.
Unless he was driving the semi. He could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit looked awful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah.
But even that, like...
Oh yeah, what was up with the Deadpool car fight?
I didn't mind the car fight.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was very much like, okay. I kind of feel like
He didn't have a plan at all.
And that made sense, right? Like, his power is that he mega heals or whatever. So he's just, like, literally throws himself at it. But, like, I like the suspense of, like, he's after her and, like, they're trying to get her, like, away from him inside the car and everything. That was cool. Until he starts to fight the dude in the back seat. And, like, they fucking telegraph him being knocked out of the car about a minute before it happens. And I'm like, this would have been so much more impactful as if, like, the dude had just kicked him and the door had opened and he'd have went right out.
That would have been
and then
dope,
everybody would have been like, oh, shit. But because they had him hanging half out of the car for 30 seconds, you're like, okay, well, they're going to kick him out of the car. A car's going to hit him, and then that's going to be the end of it. And that's exactly what happened.
Also, you're in the middle of a pretty big fight. Also, the motherfucker who killed your girl, you're fighting in a fucking car. You stop to turn around to try to kill the woman behind you while this fucker is shooting you? There was a good 5 seconds of that. I'm like, why?
I also wonder why when they saw this poor kid get tossed from a moving SUV, gets hit by a car, no one stops.
No, the semi driver definitely did not stop.
He didn't slow down. And he was like, "Oh, some druggie,"
and not a single person after that stops. They just watch him stand up and walk down the road as he pops his leg back in place.
Yeah, that's definitely a crackhead.
I'll be honest, if I saw this motherfucker, I probably wouldn't stop.
No, dog. Like, also, I'll give them the nod to this. Like, I didn't hate the paint, the face paint. I didn't. Like, I wanted to, but I didn't. Like, it actually kind of fit.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
And I did like the wear and tear on the jacket through the fights. Like, I will give him that, too.
The face paint looked better than his normal face. So.
Yeah, damn.
Damn. Oh.
Damn, dog.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, that was cold-blooded as fuck. So we still have no idea who or what the mystical, magical, ambiguous race dude was.
The train keeper.
Yeah. He was just there. And again, I think he just took the role of like what the Crow was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was expositing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the exposition for the Crows.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to exposit now.
I'm like, I would be like, dude, what do you do when I'm not here? Like, what's your normal day?
He stands around ominously.
There was a little similarity that I did notice that, I mean, this version of the Crow did not pull off as well, in my opinion. But the OG Crow when he was in his kill mode, he was playful.
Oh yeah, he had a sense of humor.
Oh, he had a sense of humor. He hung up upside down. What was it? Fun Boy? Was it Fun Boy? He was like just dangling in front of. Like there's this that creepy, almost psychotic factor to him.
Right.
There was a few moments where I saw it kind of peeking through with Skarsgård's performance, but it never fully hit. No. It was like when he was sitting next to after he finally became the Crow, and he's sitting down. His best friend's got his eyeball shot through. He takes his cigarette or whatever the fuck he was smoking and puts it in the other dead guy's mouth. It's like, hold this.
That's the only time you see it.
Yeah. That's the only time you see it.
Other than that, he's just murderous Eeyore.
Yeah. Why is that so accurate? There was one part that I did enjoy with his performance as once he became the Crow. It was during the opera house. It was towards the top, right when he comes up to fight Chick's husband or whatever. Like there was that, he stops at the edge of the hall, turns, and like he just kind of does this weird like sidestep in.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that kind of made me feel like, oh, this is the Crow. But what was up with the samurai sword?
I thought the sword was dope.
I mean,
it was definitely to great effect.
I mean, it did okay. I was just like, he never used the sword.
I wasn't mad that he used a different weapon. I mean, he wanted him to use another shotgun.
Speaking of that scene where with his friend or whatever, the one that got shot in the eye.
Yeah.
As soon as those dudes came in the room, I was like, that guy is fucked.
Oh yeah.
I was like, because these two dudes are bad guys, and your buddy here can heal. I was like, but you don't have shit. You're about to get fucking killed.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, oh, I just shot Melvin in the face.
So let's talk about this. And there's no way around this. This is another 30-year-old spoiler for you, Caleb. But Shelley doesn't come back.
No, she doesn't. Like,
there is no.
So that whole deal of y'all being able to come back if you kill everybody, or she can come back if you trade your soul. Not a thing. Like, this is a pure revenge story.
Pure revenge. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no, if I can do this right, I can trade my soul for her. No, none of that.
No. Again, you just kill them.
That might be an amalgamation for like one of the other Crows, but nothing with Eric Draven.
Yeah.
Well, it just kind of, it's like we talk about it here all the time, that there's this overwhelming, I guess, just motive or desire in Hollywood to, when a villain gets popular, all of a sudden they want to make them, a baby face, essentially. Right. They want to make them, freaking white bread, goody, whatever. And it's the same thing with your anti-heroes, right? Where it's just like, oh, it's got to be to bring her back to life. He can't just be out here killing these people because he's pissed. It's like, no, that's the story.
That's the story. Like, he's brought back so he can kill these bitches. Period.
I cannot wait to see what Disney does with the Punisher, and I mean that sarcastically. Because there's no way, right?
Don't tell me that. Like, I didn't even hear this news yet.
That's official. Yeah, he's in Born Again. He's in the new Daredevil show. Yeah, John Bernthal. Like all the Netflix stuff is canon. So
okay.
Yeah.
Except for Finn Jones. I have a feeling like he's going to get fucking retconned.
But, I mean, with the Daredevil show, like, they're, even the villain they're using, his name is Muse, and he's dark as fuck. Like, carves up bodies and leaves them in poses and shit.
I think they are going to go super dark with Born Again, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine doing what the numbers it's doing. But I have a hard time thinking we're ever going to get a Punisher show that's rated R, where we just see him going through doing Punisher shit, murdering police and shit like that. I have a hard time thinking that that's going to be on the front of Disney Plus.
Speaking of dark, fucked up characters, and this is a mild spoiler for the OG one. I kind of miss the creepy main bad guy from the original movie, man.
Yeah, that motherfucker was so confident. In himself. He was creepy, but yeah, he was...
Him and his sister.
Was that his sister?
That's what they said in the movie.
They were siblings.
Yes, they were siblings.
That makes it so much creepier.
Yes, it does. that is what they said. Like it could have been implied that step siblings because
was she Asian?
She's clearly Asian.
Yeah.
He might have a little Asian descent in him though. Like you can kind of see it in his face a little bit, but it could have been step siblings or half siblings, whatever.
And that was way too sensual for that to be.
I mean, Game of Thrones has done worse.
Yeah, facts, big facts.
But I just remember that scene where she plucks out that dead bitch's eye and like kind of eats it.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing, man. This movie didn't have any of the fun henchmen.
Right? Like, I was hoping for some Tintin, some T-Bird.
Fun Boy.
Fun Boy. What was the...
Tom, right?
Is it Tom?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, the annoying little weasel one, the one that, runs from, like, the final one he kills out of the henchman.
Pretty sure that was...
Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
no Devil's Night?
Yeah.
No fucking Devil's Night, man.
Yeah, so, it's really quick here. Just going back to, like, the death scene for Shelly and Eric. First of all of that shit was confusing. Like, when he wakes up and then he's like, did he make it? And then, like, okay, no, he's dead. No, wait, he made it. No, he's dead. And he was supposed to be confused, but I was like, are we supposed to be so confused?
Yeah, like, there should be some sort of... Like, we should know what's going on.
Yeah.
He can be confused. We don't need to be.
Right.
At least not to that degree.
But a little bit of fun comic lore for you. So, in the comics, the way that the death happens is Shelly, she's taken and assaulted by the gang, and then she's about to be then she's being beaten and about to be killed. Draven, he is beaten and then he's shot in the head, but he's not dead yet. He's actually, it leaves him paralyzed, but he's still conscious, and so he just has to lay there and watch as she's being brutalized, and then she's killed, but he lives, and he's the one who's taken up to the hospital and who dies later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was it's pretty fucked up. Fucked. I think that version of Draven would have loved to have been suffocated.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like the OG movie version, they just kind of chuck him out a window.
Yeah.
Which is, like he gets stabbed, he gets a knife thrown in his chest,
yeah,
and then chunked out a window.
Yeah. Still not fun.
No.
Especially like, man, imagine coming home, walking up all those stairs, and then you get tossed out.
Oh, yeah. Top floor. And also, we don't get a cool ass scene. Like, I saw they tried to do a little bit of their loft a little bit. That little.
Oh yeah.
It was it almost gave. I was like, okay, they're gonna give us a little bit of the OG.
But still, no guitar solo.
Guitar. Oh man.
If only Joel Schumacher was alive to direct this, bro.
Bro, there would have been so many ass shots too.
Yeah, there would have been so many ass shots.
There were a lot of ass shots in this movie, though.
There were ass shots.
Instead of the clean cut CW guys, it would have all been gangsters with like neon shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Joe Schumacher would be like, "Oh, this is a fictional city. I can do whatever I want." Oh,
yes, sir.
How about a couple of like neon biker gangs, and they're like, "Okay, yeah." I mean,
you think that'll work for the aesthetic? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Do we have anything else we want to say about 2024's Crow?
I hated the music. I just hate the music.
What do you guys want to see in the sequel?
I want to see that they have decided not to make one. And after, I mean,
the fact that you put that thought in my head, I hate you for it.
Yeah, I was looking up, like, while the final fight was going on, I was like, oh, well, this is the end. I was Googling whether there was an after credit scene and was very pleased to see that there wasn't. I think that they probably just put this out because they were too far along with it not to, and had spent $50 million on it. It's not going to bomb as hard as Borderlands, but it is going to be like the second biggest bomb of the year, probably.
What studio put this out?
Lionsgate.
Oh, okay.
I only know that because they did their little cool ass barbed wire intro, that they do, and I was like, any of the Saw movies are probably better than what I'm about to watch.
And I did make the fun joke of Mechanist.
Yeah.
Caleb goes, Gear Maze.
Yeah, we're in the Gear Maze, which is honestly probably better than this movie.
There's so many things you could say though that would apply to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said though, it's probably good that we just reviewed Umbrella Academy because my
you are a lot more chill with this one, honestly.
If you listen to that review, I was full tilt on Umbrella Academy.
Oh, yeah.
It was scathing.
I had to be good cop.
I still haven't even watched it yet. I want to because I'm a fan of the show, but
I was like Kevin reviewing fucking Love and Thunder, like.
Oh no.
or really any of the Captain Marvel stuff, any of that.
It's always a fun time when I get to be good cop and try to find some glimmer of hope.
I was messaging him after every episode, bro, I don't know if I can this is awful. I was gonna watch another episode tonight, but I can't do it to myself. I gotta go to bed. I can't.
The best part for me was I watched the episodes 5 and 6, and then I was like, oh, he's gonna hate this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever rated lower than that season was Dune 84.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about the holiday special?
No, I think I gave the holiday special a 3.
Oh. What'd you give Umbrella Academy?
2.5.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's like getting credit for spelling your name right on the test.
And the only reason Dune 84 got a 1 and not a 0 is because Patrick Stewart is in it.
Yeah,
and I literally couldn't, I couldn't,
And he had hair in that movie, didn't he?
He did.
And it was weird.
It was weird.
It was like seeing freaking Wade Wilson with the toupee.
Oh, yeah. There's a difference, though. He intentionally made that unsettling.
He was also carrying a pug.
He was carrying a pup. That was the ugliest.
Oh, don't be hating on that puppy.
Wade Wilson?
Hating. Well, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we have ranted and raved enough about this instant classic of a remake.
You can stop that.
The original director, the guy who did the first Crow, he also did iRobot. He did a couple of other movies that I thought were actually pretty decent. Mm-hmm. And then we get this guy here who's does glorified movie videos or music videos, but yeah.
With crappy music, I'd like to know.
Yeah, this has been an experience. And I'm so glad that I rushed to get off work and go straight to the theater to watch this instead of Alien Romulus.
Which would have been such a better movie.
So you're going to have to come in and review something enjoyable with us.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Alien Romulus.
You were there for Deadpool and Wolverine.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
Were you on the review for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the three of us and Kevin.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
right.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
That's still only one amongst many.
Alien Romulus. I haven't had any spoilers, but I have heard divisive things about the finish. So we'll see.
They only remember the finish code.
But yeah, and also the next throwback. My pick is Big Trouble in Little China. So
Something I haven't seen since I was a kid.
I've never seen it. So, but I will not be on for that one. I will not be returning to the throwback series until Brendan's pick, which is the 86.
I think that's
Transformers.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize there was an 86 Transformer movie.
It's about these robots in the sky.
Oh, I'm aware of what Transformers are.
Yeah, they turn into trucks and cars.
They're more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be all for this one, and we're gonna catch Oz up on what Transformers are.
Yeah.
Movie. And by the way, Michael Bay used live Transformers in his movies, and no one got hurt. But it's gonna be all for this one. This has been another amazing episode of the Superhero Homies podcast. So glad you homies stuck around and listened to us bullshit and ramble. We had a blast, and hopefully you guys did as well. That is all for now, but until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
I am Superhero Homie Oz.
And I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.